So we see our greatest value to you here today, and the greatest work that we do as we are playing with you is to convince you of the reality of this vibrational beingness that has amassed and that is real, but that may be vibrating at a frequency where you can't yet see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, and that's why you don't believe it. It is so much easier to believe what's manifested than to believe what's pre-manifested. And this pre-manifestation, it is the precursor to all of this magnificent expansion. If we can convince you that you were source energy before you came into this body, and that the larger part of you still is source energy even though you're in this body. If we can convince you that as you explore the details of your life that you cause a vibrational expansion, and that the larger part of you immediately takes that expansion, is that expansion, has become that expansion, and is calling you to it. And if we can convince you that the way you feel is your evidence, in the moment evidence, of whether you're going with the expansion or whether you're holding back a little bit. To the degree that you feel bad, you're holding back. To the degree that you feel good, you're going with it. And if we can convince you that if you will just chill out a little, if you will stop looking at reality and letting whatever it is control your every thought, if you will allow yourself the hopeful conclusion that maybe there is a vortex, and maybe my source is within it, and maybe if I just release thoughts, that source will call me into vibrational alignment, then it is our promise to you that your vortex will train your vibration upward. Because in the absence of resistant thought, you practice a non-resistant, totally allowing thought. And the more often you do that, the more easy it is to do it, until in time, and we're talking about a very short time, you will become a vibrational match to the frequency of your source. And when that happens, when you spend more time in this vortex, do you believe there's a vortex? Can you sort of kind of hear it? You get what we're talking about? You have to accept it. You're good, but you haven't figured out how to scrape enough dirt together to launch it into orbit. You gotta know there's something else going on. And as you acknowledge that there is this vortex of creation, and as you acknowledge that it is a vibrational frequency, and as you accept the reality of it and feel your way into it again and again and again, and once you're in it, you milk it. You stay there as long as you can until it's more natural for you to be in that frequency than to be in a resistant frequency that doesn't feel so good. What will begin to happen to you is you will begin to see and hear and smell and taste and touch inside the vortex. In other words, we're not saying to you that everything that manifests is outside the vortex. We're saying to you that you got to be in the vortex for the things you want to manifest. You got to be in the vortex for the things that you want to consistently and profoundly and chronically begin to manifest. You got to believe, you've got to understand your frequency. And the only way that you can understand your frequency is through your emotions. Do you get that? So what are your emotions anyway? Your emotions are your indicator of the relationship between the frequencies in you. So you were source energy before you came into this body. That's a frequency. You are a point of consciousness here in this physical body. That's a frequency. There is a larger part of you still non-physically focused. That's a frequency. And those frequencies are playing off of one another, and that's what emotions are. So when you feel elation, you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. That means the thought that you're thinking right now is in total agreement with the thought the source within you thinks, you see. Well, we can't say it to you any more clearly than that. Now, let's play together if you want to. We are eager to chew with you about anything that is important to you. And our value here to you is to help you to feel in a more obvious way your vortex connection. In other words, our value to you is to bridge you from where you are vibrationally to who you really are. And so it is our expectation that you will feel relief as you move that way. Whether you come to the hot seat or not, whether you are listening in, whether you are watching in, whether you're sitting in this chair with your eyes closed, or whether you are fully participating, whether you visit with us verbally or not, We are aware not only of who you are, but of all that you are in your vortex. And we can feel the power of that which you're reaching for. In other words, you have highlighted solutions all over the planet. There is a powerful calling of solution and answer. But the most important thing to understand is, friends, we know the answers. We have the solutions. But to you, you got to say, big hairy deal. Because if you're not in the vibrational vicinity, it doesn't matter how clearly we speak it, how clearly we spell it out. If you're not in the vibrational vicinity of the solutions that we are highlighting, you can't hear it. So this conversation that we have just had was all from our understanding that as we remind you who you really are in these very general terms, that you will release resistance and rise to the frequency of that which you are. And that's what's taken place already. You are in closer vicinity to your vortex than you usually are. You are in closer vicinity to the solutions than you seek than you've been in a very long time. So we're going to have a great deal of fun here together. And what you are going to notice is all kinds of ahas are going to begin to occur to you. You're going to feel smarter than you have felt in a very long time, because you are vibrationally up to speed with the solutions that you have been looking for. You are following? So just be playful about it. There's nothing serious going on here at all. All that's happening here is that we are together in the process of assisting one another. We are helping you to come into alignment with who you are and what's in your vortex. And will the manifestation come? Yes, indeed it will. But we're trying to distract you from manifestational scrutiny. Because when you need to see it right here, right now, and you don't, now you're focused upon the absence of it. And when you focus upon the absence of it, it's an entirely different frequency than the presence of it. So now you're not a cooperative component. So if just for a little while, we could get you to be looking for the emotional manifestation. And that's a valid word, emotional manifestation. Because when you feel an emotion, it happened. It's real. It got you in your gut, didn't it? When you feel emotion, isn't it a reality? It's an indication of vibration. So as you feel an emotion, understand that that emotion is an in-the-moment reality that you can take to the bank, to the vortex. As you acknowledge that you and everyone that you are interacting with is causing you to build this magnificent vortex of creation, and that the source within you dwells there and experiences the fullness of all that you have asked for. And as you, little by little, tune yourself to the frequency of that vibration, what you will begin to notice first is that you just feel better. The edge will just lift up off of you. Next, you'll begin to notice that wonderful ideas are flowing to you. You'll begin to notice that your memories of your past are changing, where the good memories are coming forward and the memories that were not so good fade, and you can hardly remember them at all. You'll begin to notice that people around you are on your vibrational wavelength. You'll begin to notice that you're thinking something and someone right next to you, even somebody that you don't know very well, will verbalize it. And you'll look at them and feel such camaraderie, such harmony, such co-creative connectivity. You'll say to them, "You may not believe this, but I was just thinking those exact thoughts." We are so on the same vibrational wavelength. And then not only will the ideas flow, but connections of all kinds will begin to appear in your experience. Not because they are magically just being formulated out of thin air, but because you are tuning yourself to the frequency where you can now pick up in a receptive manner on them. And as you begin following that bliss, following that feeling of pure positive emotion, what you'll begin to notice is that your vortex will continue to expand and call you, and expand and call you, and expand and call you. And you will never run out of the feeling of surprise and delight, because it works like this. You were source energy before you came into this magnificent physical body. And even though a part of your consciousness came forth into this body, the larger part of you remained non-physically focused. As you sift through the details of this life experience, you are constantly putting requests, and even more than putting requests, you are expanding into a vibrational version of yourself that you must keep up with if you are to live the joyous life that you came forth to live. You can't hold back from that which you are. You must go with the flow of that which you are if you are to live the joyful life that you have come to live. So as you lean in the direction of this pure positive energy, as you praise and look for positive aspects and really make a habit out of feeling that pure positive energy, and as you move into the vortex again and again, as you make that vortex the place that you usually are, as you recognize when you are there and you recognize when you're not there, then what begins to happen is the vortex, as it keeps moving to another level and another level and another level, as you keep keeping up with it, you keep being privy to the new insights that are there for you. Are you getting an understanding of what we're saying? This is what's been happening in all of these hours that we've been playing together today. You are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and up to speed with who you really are. And it's a rare one of you who is not really hearing everything to the depth and in the meaning that we are meaning it. Now, that doesn't mean that tomorrow you will remember it all or that you could even repeat it to everyone. But it does mean that you found a way to get into vibrational alignment with who you are and to know the fullness of who you are. And doesn't it feel good to do that, you see? So then what happens next is that as you begin to abide in this vibration of well-being more and more, and of course now you're getting feedback from others. Others are noticing that your life is going better, you're feeling better, you're having more vitality, you're having more stability, you're having more really good ideas. You'll have an idea or an impulse about something, and when you apply it, it really pays off. You'll find things just going well. You'll find yourself repeating the mantra, everything is always working out for me. It feels like the entire universe is just wrapped around me. It's like a concierge in the sky that is just opening doors for me everywhere I go, everywhere I go, everywhere I go. And then, and this is the part that we are the most exhilarated about expressing to you, because you're up to speed and ready to hear it, and it's something new that is hatched even as a result of the conversation that we've had here together today. And that is that, we touched on it earlier as we said, you never get it done and you cannot get it wrong. But here's the way we really want you to see this. As you reach for this feeling of well-being inside your vortex, and you milk it and practice it and sustain it and succeed it, in other words, accomplish it, make it the vibration that is most dominant within you. And then you witness the manifestation that must unfold because it is law. Your acknowledgement of what worthiness really is will come full stream into your knowing. Because when you came into this physical body and you began exploring and you began making your statements of what you want and lived some life without the things that you want and felt the discord of wanting something that you couldn't figure out how to get, but then you became aware that you were personally, vibrationally holding this thing away from you because of your attention to its absence rather than your attention to its presence. And then you began focusing upon what you wanted until you trained yourself, or better said, till you allowed the vibration of your vortex, the vibration of your source, to train you into that higher vibration. So you've done this deliberately. You know what it feels like to be out of sync, and you know what it feels like to be in sync. And you get in sync on purpose. You're doing it on purpose. You're aligning on purpose. And the first recognition that you have that you are in alignment is that you feel better. You just feel better. It's that feeling of faith. It's that feeling of hope. It's that feeling of knowing. You just feel better. But then you get to see the manifestation of this thing that you've been asking for, and you know without any doubt within you whatsoever that it was your accomplishment of vibrational alignment that allowed the unfolding of these events. That is deliberate creation at its best. And we have to say to you that when you deliberately intend something and you recognize you're out of wackiness about it, and then you do something about that being out of vibrational sync, and you deliberately get into vibrational sync, and you revel in your alignment, and then you witness the manifestation, then you know what worthiness truly is. It's alignment, it's enlightenment, it's source flowing through you. We have enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. There is great